Hey, um, wanted to make a video because it's been something I've been wanting to do for a while, is make more content. I'm trying to get some things together to make a new channel with my friend Dane and a couple other friends of mine who would be great to have to work with to do stuff together. I don't really have a set script that I'm going off of or anything like that. I just set up my cameras and kind of hit record because I wanted to talk a little bit about just everything that's going on. I initially wanted to talk about details and specifics and what's messed up about it all. But I didn't really want to start a whole other argument with people and uh, kind of get something going. I don't know. I don't really know what I'm trying to say even. The last week, today is August 31st. Last week was tough. I'm sure you probably know all about the situation in Kenosha, and then the situation in Portland. We've got a situation here in Minneapolis. I think 2020 has obviously been a rough year for a lot of people. And I wanted to talk about what you can do to help and what you can do to just make things better. And I think people should still actively go out and do stuff and whatnot. But I got rid of my Instagram recently because it came across as people that I knew either were saying things just for the sake of saying them because it's what's trending or what's uh, common, and then would go right back to their normal daily lives. And my immediate reaction was it came across as shallow and um, just not very genuine, not very heartfelt. And I think there's some truth to that, but I also think that another big part of it is that people have to live their lives. You've got things to do outside of the truck is really loud. Sorry. There we go. You got things to do. You know, people have jobs and people have lives they're trying to live. And um, I think for me, I'm a very wear my heart on my sleeve type person, um, especially when it comes to causes like this that I feel not enough people care about or whatever. And I know people care. I know that my main point with this, honestly, I don't really know where I'm going with it. I just think that we're reaching a point where people are just terrible towards one another. They're just awful. And it sucks because a lot of it has to do with how this country views politics and party loyalty and things like that. Um, and what's going on right now, families are being destroyed by it. I mean, I've got family members that I just haven't talked to in a long time, and I feel a lot of it has to come down to our differences in politics. Um, but I'm at the point where if I think what I'm trying to say is I just want people to be nicer to each other and abandon these political party loyalty alignments that they find themselves with, because at the end of the day it's your party doesn't have to represent who you are as a person and what you believe in, but if you let it, that's the issue. If you let your loyalty to a party or a person define who you are, I think that's an issue. I was at a protest where this was for George Floyd, where we demonstrated and marched peacefully. And we marched onto a freeway. And the freeway, we had lanes open for cars to drive through, and people were driving through, and they were cheering for us. They were clapping for us. It's a lot of support, a lot of love. We were making sure that people were getting past, but we wanted to be seen because what's happening right now, if a delay on your trip on the freeway is seen as an inconvenience and it pisses you off, imagine what people who have been oppressed feel like every day. So when we were on that freeway, there was a moment where a semi truck drove through it and nearly ran over a bunch of protesters. Initial reaction from me personally was that of anger and violence. I'm not happy to say that. I'm not happy to say that's who I was. When that went down and we were running and people were screaming and panicking, I had thought that I had just witnessed 20 or 30 people get killed by a semi truck for exercising their rights, for standing up for people who don't have a voice and have been oppressed and ignored for forever. I thought I just watched people die from that. And when the truck finally came to a stop and the protesters got him out, there was a guy who came back from that end where the truck was, walking towards where it had all started. And I asked him, I said, did they get him out? And they said, yeah, we got him out. Police arrested him now. I was like, awesome. But when it happened initially, I said, I hope they fucking kill that guy. And that came from a place of violence and vengeance that I wanted because I wanted him to pay for what I thought he just did. But what happened after I said that put it in perspective for me where I needed to change my opinions on stuff. A woman, well, actually 2 women, called me out, pointed me out to other people who were around me and said, no, don't say that. We are not going to be the ones to respond to violence with violence. And she was 100% correct. The way I acted was an initial reaction of anger and fear, and it's not who I am. It's who I was in the moment, but it's not what I really want. I was glad to hear that the protesters actually got him out, and one of them, or maybe 2 of them, protected the driver of the truck from being beaten until the police could, of course, arrest him and take him off. That moment sticks with me a lot because I was embarrassed that my initial emotions took over from that. And to see what happened in Kenosha with Jacob Blake, and then to see this 17-year-old who drove across state lines with an illegal gun to protect property that wasn't his, to agitate protesters and then kill 2 of them. And then to see police, react the way they did to him versus the total opposite way they reacted to Jacob Blake sucks. Violence just begets violence. It just does. And what happened in Portland following a couple of days proved that point. And I don't want to see people get killed. I don't want to see people get shot, run over by trucks. But to have friends who I respected growing up with tell me that I was wrong to even be on the bridge in the first place, or to see the shit they post on Facebook talking about how, semi-trucks should just straight up run through protesters. It's like, I was your friend. We grew up together, and this is how you act. What's happening right now has been in the works for a long time. And I guess I just want people to be nicer to each other. Um, I'm burnt out. I'm tired. All this stuff sucks and it's super stressful. And I know I'm not alone when I say that, but it's hard to not feel alone. I don't know. End of the day, just try to be nice to each other. Live by that golden rule that we all learned when we were kids. How would you want to be treated? Well, do that same thing for others. Try to see perspectives from outside your own. And if you don't get what's going on and why it's happening and why people are marching to begin with, I think that you need to look into it more. I can't be the person obviously to coach you through that and educate you entirely. There are a lot more well qualified people that could do that, that could have a conversation with you about it. But I'm just tired of violence. I'm tired of it. It's it's something that needs to change, and I'm hopeful that eventually we'll get through this. Um, but please just be kind to one another. That's really all I gotta say. Um, I'm hoping to make more videos soon. I'm hoping that this will eventually become something I can do regularly because it's something I really enjoy that I've neglected to do just because of a lack of energy from the last year that's been going on and everything else around me. But I want to try to take more time out of my day to do things that I enjoy, because if this year's taught us anything, it's that anything can fucking happen at any time, and you got to try to live your life, um, and enjoy it, because you never know when it might end. That's all I got to say. If you watched it, thanks for watching. If you're a family member watching this, um, I know it's been a tough year, but I love you guys. I miss you, and hopefully we'll talk again soon. Thank you.